Ladies and gentlemen, Conscious TV.
Well, I might not be able to say for sure if I'm the youngest in the country, but I do know that I'm the youngest here in the University of Lagos as a professor. I am Temitope Olabisi Onuminya, a professor of plant systematics and conservation at the University of Lagos, the University of First Choice, and the nation's pride. Oh yes, I am young and I actually get that a lot. My journey into the academia was not something I'd pre-imagined, with time. Growing up, I saw my grandfather, who was an electrical engineer, training people, and I got interested in fixing stuff in the house. So much that I got electrocuted a couple of times, but it was fun learning. So I saw myself growing up to be an engineer. But then I was about to write my WAEC and my teacher said, "Do you want to be a mechanic?" Because I thought of being a mechanical engineer. And that word mechanic just made everything sounded weird, to me. So I decided to apply for pharmacology at the University of Lagos. But when I did JAM, I didn't make the cutoff for pharmacology, and then I was offered Botany. When I got the admission, I saw it in there. I saw my name in the newspaper that year. It was on my birthday, May 1st. And when I saw Botany, I just felt like, what did they do there? I'm not about to become Yemkem International, that I'll now be doing Lojokojo Geru Geru. No. That's not me. I didn't want to do it. But I had one of our neighbors who was studying here at the University of Lagos then, who advised me to take up the opportunity with the proviso that by my 200 level, I'll be able to cross to the College of Medicine to do whatever program I want to do there. So I came in not too enthusiastic into Botany. And in fact, I came in some 2 weeks before the first semester examination was going to start. So it meant that I had a lot of reading and studying to do. But I was determined because I wanted to do well to be able to cross over to the college. And so I came into UNILAG to study Botany. And after the first year, I was privileged to be one of those whose name was published as top student of the school that year. UNILAG had that tradition during that time where they publish the CGPA of their students that are doing well in each department, and my name came up. So I was very excited and ready to go to the college until I entered my HOD's office and she was like, "No, you cross from college to science, not from science to college." And I wasn't happy about it at all. A number of my other colleagues in the same shoes went on to pick up JAM form, but I just felt like if I found myself here in Botany, I better make the best of it. And so that was the point I began to think that I could make something out of Botany. And then by the time I got to 300 level, I got exposed to all the various aspects of Botany, and my lecturers then were quite fascinating, and I just thought, "Tope, you can do this." So from 300 level, I began to nurse the ambition of coming to teach, coming back as a lecturer to the university. Then in 400 level, I took a course, Economic Botany. Our lecturer entered the class that day, Dr. Oluwatoyin Ogundipe then, and he said everyone should tear a sheet of paper and write out what they want to be in future, where they want to see themselves in the next 5 years. And I saw myself writing that I want to be a lecturer in the next 5 years. I want to be able to have had my master's and be doing my doctorate. And I had all of those penned down on that day. I wouldn't say that I was fully aware of what I was writing, but I was just inspired to do that and I wrote it. So went for youth service, came back, and for me, during the youth service, I made sure that I did all the interviews that I had the opportunity to, in order to rule out the fact that I'm coming back to the academics because I didn't get a job. I wanted to tell myself that I'm coming back because I really, really want to do this and choose this path. And so I did all the interviews, got all the offers, but then I respectfully declined those offers and picked up a master's form to come to University of Lagos. But rather than doing a master's, I ended up doing MPhil and then converted into a PhD program. And today, here we are. So the journey has been quite insightful, I must say, because I was exposed to a lot of things through my career. Starting out, I came into University of Lagos in 2010 as an assistant lecturer, and I rose through the rank to become a professor, as has been announced today. The journey has been quite intriguing, really, because I have learned to know the value of hard work. I have learned to know the value of focus and determination. And I have also learned to know the value of having good mentorship and guidance through the way. All of this, I would say, have made me who I am today. I have been able to enjoy mentorship of, a man who is visionary and is willing to, provide the platform for you to thrive at every point in time. And I speak of no other person than my mentor, my supervisor, Professor Oluwatoyin Ogundipe, the immediate past Vice Chancellor of the University of Lagos. And he provided for me an avenue to succeed. He provided the guidance needed. He tutored me through all that is needed in every stage of my academic development. At every point in time, he would say, when you're the object of spectacle, you don't sit at the spectator stand and be clapping, meaning that you really have to be focused. You need to stand out and ensure that you set the pace for others to follow, rather than be in the crowd and just going with the wave of things. So that's really helped me to be on my toes and to ensure that at every stage of growth that I have to make within the academic system, that I ensure that I know what is required and I prepare myself ahead of that requirement to make sure that when it's time, I am ready to be able to, fulfill all that is needed. He has been able to instill in me a culture of learning and personal development. For everything that is needed in an academic development, one main key ingredient is you getting funding for your research work. If you don't have funds to bring your ideas to life, you can actually be impeded in your growth. And so for me, it taught me the skill and the value of grant writing for me to be able to seek support from various bodies and organizations. And this has tremendously helped in who I have become today. Having funding to be able to pursue my ideas, pursue the various research ideas that I have, has helped me become the professor that I am today. Because from the output of such research, we're able to have publications, which are the things that are now required, towards promotion from one level to the other. So I really want to say that, I'm attributing my success today to the kind of guidance and mentorship that I received from him through the years. So botany is the study of plants and plant products. That's the simple definition I can provide for it. And it is of value to us because really, what is life anyway without plants? We get our food from plants, we get our clothing, we get shelter from materials from the forest. And so botany provides value in all human spheres of life. And beyond plants as we know it, botany does entail various fields or subunits, and those sub-disciplines have their own specialties in us being able to better understand our society. For instance, I am a plant systematics, and by virtue of my discipline, I study variations that exist in a given plant population, trying to understand the causes of that variability as we see it and what kind of consequence it might have in the environment. So this is one aspect of botany. Another aspect is mycology, where we study fungi. We look at things like mushrooms and the kind of value that they provide. There is phycology that looks into algae and phytoplanktons that you find in water bodies. You have palynology that talks about pollens and spores, and you can use this to be able to look into cases of allergies, people who are allergic to plants in their environment, or to be able to reconstruct what an environment really looked like some years ago compared to what is looking like now, and be able to provide solutions in terms of conservation strategies for such environments. So really, botany is diverse, and our ability to be able to understand and appreciate this helps us to be able to better appreciate the discipline, as it were. One value of mentorship that I really benefited from is exposure. So because of the kind of platforms that my mentor exposed me to, it helped me to have a better appreciation of how things should work, in standard environments. So through his mentorship, I've been able to enjoy having to travel to various countries to learn different skills from experts around the world. For instance, at the beginning of my career, I was able to learn the value of grant writing. I was able to learn skills in molecular biology and DNA barcoding, and this has formed the basis or bedrock of everything that I have built over the years. I started out working in plant molecular systematics, and I've continued in that line even as I use other tools in order to better understand plant populations in my environment. So the exposure that you have, the kind of collaboration you are able to build because of the connections that mentorship provides for you is really huge, and it's something that I have really benefited from. I've also benefited in terms of learning to add value to people's life. Mentorship helps me to see that I can add value to other people's life just as much value that I have received from that kind of relationship. And it goes beyond just the academic view of things, but even the personal lives of individuals are shaped as a result of mentorship. So for me, I've been able to benefit from the way I relate with even my spouse at home, the way I handle my children, and the way I handle work ethics. These have been things that I have been able to learn through mentorship that I have received, and in the same way, I'm trying to pass that on to the students that I have working with me, right now. So having mentor really can save you from a lot of things, that especially errors that you would otherwise have made, if you didn't have that guide there telling you that this is how you go, or that is what you should do per time. So it is really of value to have a mentor in your life, somebody you can look up to, somebody who have been there and have achieved those kind of things that you are looking forward to be able to achieve or get to at some point in your life. They can help to act as a shoulder for you to be able to lean on or stand on, so that you can see the world even brighter and better, and you're able to make wise choices as a result. So for me personally, I would say that my life sojourn has been guided by the principle of hard work and being focused. Having a focus on the kind of life you want, the things that you want to achieve, and pursuing it passionately, has been one of the things that has really worked for me and has guided who I have become today. Another thing that has guided me, I would say, is having a knowledge of who God is and what He can use you to be able to achieve per time. We as humans, we are all designed as spiritual beings, and I'm a Christian, and so I believe that for any step I take in life, it is all orchestrated by God and it is planned by Him. So what God has not planned is not going to allow to come forth, in the schemes of things that I do in my life. So I prioritize God, and I believe strongly that He is able to help me through any situation that I find myself in. So that helps me really to be able to put my life into perspective and know that there's someone in control, and I need to yield to that being. Again, having mentor, like I said, is one of the things that has really worked for me. So I value the principle of mentorship, having someone to hold you by the hand and lead you through each of the steps that you need to take, when you need to take them, and how you should go about them. That really has helped me a lot. And so I live by the principle of not despising humble beginnings. Every step counts, every step matters. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with just a step. And so until you take that first step, you would not know how far you're going to go. So really, I celebrate small victories. I'm able to achieve X today. I celebrate that, and I look forward to doing more the following day. And that really helps me to be able to hard on from time to time till I get to my target at the end of the day. So those are some of the things that have really worked for me and I continue to live by. So Botany can help in the fight against illicit drug trafficking, drug abuse, by various means. One of those is DNA barcoding that I talked about earlier, and that is the use of DNA sequence from plants in identifying such a plant material. So it allows for easy, quick, and on the spot recognition of plants in whatever forms that they may be presented, whether in powder form, in liquid, or other processed forms. You are able to identify the kind of plants that has been used in composition of that particular material that is presented before you. So if you have somebody traveling with a particular type of plant material, but they are claiming it to be XYZ, you are able to use DNA barcoding through a device called a live barcoder, for example, which contains sequences of DNA materials from various types of plants, to be able to identify what plant species that person is carrying at that given point in time. So that way you are able to easily determine if the plant is one that is restricted or otherwise, if it is one that is endangered and you're not supposed to travel with, or it is just a common plant that is found in the environment. So DNA barcoding helps you to easily identify this in a rapid time for you to be able to make a decision about if you should detain the person or otherwise. It could also help in identifying adulterations in various formulations that you have in the markets. So you have herbal formulations of various forms in the market. If you want to know if there are adulterants in those kind of formulations, DNA barcoding can help in providing guide or insight into such cases. So herbal drug standardization and usage are being a very problematic scene, globally, and especially in our climate here, we have cases of dosage forms and all of that, like you've mentioned. But really, efforts are being made. As botanists, we are able to provide information on the composition of those plant materials that are used in formulations by looking into their component phytochemicals. And so we are able to provide information to say that these plant materials or this particular formulation contain XYZ plants. That is, as far as we can tell as botanists. The pharmacognosist will go ahead and provide standardization for that particular formulation, and they can check and test for toxicity of those formulations and be able to guide the people who are to take those formulations to say that to this extent this material is toxic or otherwise safe. And so here at the University of Lagos, we have a center, is known as the African Center of Excellence for Drug and Herbal Research and Regulations, ACDARS. And so at this center, we are set up to be able to provide trainings to various stakeholders who are into production of these herbal products, trainings towards them knowing how to standardize, their processes towards the production of these formulations at the end of the day, trainings towards ensuring that regulatory processes are followed duly, for them to be able to get the necessary approvals before they take such drugs into the market. We also ensure that we provide platforms for clinical trials of such formulations in the environment. And so the center is positioned to do this, and in the last 5 years since its establishment, it has done tremendously well in training various stakeholders, both the regulators, the formulators, the herbal practitioners, and the likes. And we continue to provide those kind of services. In fact, the center just opened their building. We just dedicated our building recently, where we have labs that can actually do this standardization of the herbal products. So we are here to provide support to our community. We are here to ensure that the works that NAFDAC and other regulatory bodies are doing is made easier, and that people actually have access to safe drugs for use in the market. The engagements have actually been very fruitful. The center has partnerships with drug producing companies, with the Herbal Medicine Traditional Herbal Medicine Board, as well as with NAFDAC and other regulatory bodies across the West African zone. And through the trainings that we have provided, both at certificate, diploma, master's, and PhD levels, we've been able to train practitioners who are now in the field and are able to provide their expertise towards ensuring that standard products are in the markets. We not only train, we also develop products as well, and we have a number of our products also in the market as we speak. And the people who have gone through our trainings have given feedbacks that they've received value. They have learned a whole lot more than what they know at the point of coming into the program, and so impact has actually been made at various levels within the various collaborators that we have at the center. We do have webinar series through which we educate people from time to time about different herbs and their efficacy. And this is basically as a result of the kind of research outputs that we have on those plant materials. So we educate the populace on that. We also organize symposiums, seminars, and conferences where we also share this information from time to time. In more recent time, we have engaged with our media units. That's our TV and radio, where we also go there to be able to create awareness through the various science-based programs that they run in those stations, to be able to educate the populace on some of these plant materials and the kind of effects or impacts that they may have on human health. We do have various plants research, and passionately I would say that one of our colleagues recently did something on sleeping soap. And so with that soap, when you bathe with it, you are able to better relax and have good sleep. And these have been tested. It's undergone some amount of clinical trials, so it's clinically validated and is made available to the populace. I mean, I've personally used this and I know that it works. Also, we're working on a number of anti-diabetic products. These are still in the pipeline, and we hope to be able to have the finished products in the market after it has undergone proper testing as it should. So for me personally, I want to invest myself into mentoring and capacity building. So I want to be able to vigorously pursue research grants that can help build human capacity in various fields, especially as it relates to plant science. And I want to have a platform where I can have a number of students come and be a part of the group to be able to benefit in terms of having access to grants to be able to pursue their research without stress. Just when you have funding for your work, it relieves you of a lot of pressure and burden, and it helps you to be able to focus. So I'm looking at an opportunity to be able to provide such platforms to students who come my way, and also even to younger colleagues in my department and in the faculty as a whole. My final words to those listening to me, to the youth out there, is that you should look out for people in your life who can actually guide and mentor you, and then hold on to these people to be able to lead you through your decisions and your ways in life. Secondly, is to remain focused on your goal. So have a goal set out for yourself, where you see yourself in the next 5 years, 10 years. Have a vision board of where you would like to be, what space you would like to see yourself, and pursue this vigorously with passion, with hard work, with resilience, because really there will be things that would come your way to distract you from achieving those purposes. But if you are resilient and you're focused, you would be able to get there at the end of the day. Most importantly, serve God with all your heart, and He would help you through whatever life experiences that you might have to go through. Thank you.